The text arrived at 3:47 p.m., right as I was wrapping up the quarterly earnings presentation. Unknown number. Just 3 words and a video attachment. Watch this carefully, Eva. I almost deleted it. Spam comes in all forms these days, and running a tech company means being extra cautious about random attachments. But something made me hesitate. Maybe it was the use of my name, or the way my phone displayed a preview of the video thumbnail, a conference room I recognized all too well. I'm Eva Carter, co-founder of Carter Technologies, and that video would destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. Mrs. Carter, the board is ready for you, my assistant called through the intercom. 5 minutes, I replied, my finger hovering over the play button. The thumbnail showed our main conference room, the one with that hideous abstract painting Nathan insisted on hanging last year. Nathan. My husband. My business partner. The father of my child. The video started playing. The timestamp showed last Thursday, when Nathan said he was meeting potential investors. He stood at the head of the table, jacket off, sleeves rolled up, his classic, trust me, pose. But these weren't investors. The transfer needs to happen before the end of the quarter, Nathan was saying, pointing at something on his laptop. Eva doesn't check the offshore accounts. She never has. My stomach clenched. The voices continued, discussing numbers, percentages, something about shell companies. I recognized one of the other voices, James from accounting. The same James who's been avoiding eye contact with me for weeks. Mrs. Carter. The intercom again. The board is getting impatient. I switched off the intercom. My hands were steady as I texted back to the unknown number, who is this? The response came immediately, someone who thinks you deserve to know. Check account 847-92X. My fingers flew across the keyboard, accessing our company's financial portal. The account number wasn't familiar, but I had access to everything. Or so I thought. The system prompted me for a secondary password I'd never seen before. Eva. Nathan's voice at my door made me jump. They're waiting for us, honey. I locked my phone, slipped it into my pocket. 18 years of marriage, and I'd never heard anything false in his voice before. Now, every word felt like a lie. Coming, I said, gathering my presentation materials. When I looked up, he was smiling, that same smile that won me over in college, the one our daughter Megan inherited. Megan. God, Megan. She was supposed to start college in the fall. We'd been planning it for years, saving for it. The board meeting passed in a blur. I presented numbers I no longer trusted, smiled at people I couldn't be sure were complicit. Nathan sat across from me, nodding encouragingly, playing his part perfectly. Excellent quarter, he announced at the end. Eva, you knocked it out of the park, as usual. The others murmured their agreement. I watched James shuffle his papers, avoiding my gaze. Back in my office, I called Lucas Bennett in HR. I need everything you have on account 847-92X. Off the record. Eva, that's... He paused. That's not a standard account. I know. That's why I'm asking you. Another pause. Give me an hour. And Eva? Be careful who you trust right now. I hung up and stared at the family photo on my desk. Nathan, Megan, and me at last year's company picnic. All smiles. All lies. My phone buzzed again. Another message from the unknown number, there's more. Much more. Are you ready to see how deep this goes? I looked at Nathan through my office window, watching him charm a group of investors. My husband. My betrayer. Show me everything, I typed back. The response was immediate, tomorrow. Noon. The coffee shop on 7th. Come alone. I deleted the thread and opened my calendar. Tomorrow at noon, I had lunch scheduled with Nathan's mother Rachel. Perfect alibi. The game was on, and Nathan had no idea he'd already lost. The coffee shop on 7th was packed when I arrived, but I spotted my mystery contact immediately. Lucas Bennett sat in the corner booth, his usual crisp appearance replaced by weekend casual. The sight of him made my chest tighten. I'd expected a stranger, not my own head of HR. "You could have just told me directly," I said, sliding into the booth. "Would you have believed me?" Lucas pushed a manila envelope across the table. "Or would you have dismissed it as office politics?" He had a point. I'd known Lucas for 5 years, trusted him with personnel issues, but this was different. This was my husband, my company, my life. "How long have you known?" 3 months. Started noticing discrepancies in the payroll system. Dummy accounts, ghost employees. He tapped the envelope. The video was just confirmation of what I already suspected. I opened the envelope, spreading documents across the table. Bank statements, transfer records, emails. My coffee grew cold as I pieced together Nathan's betrayal. My phone buzzed. "Megan, Mom, where are you?" "Dad's acting weird about lunch with Grandma Rachel." "Tell her I'm sorry," I typed back. "Emergency meeting." "Everything okay?" I stared at her message. Megan had her father's intuition, she could smell a lie a mile away. "Just work stuff, honey. See you at dinner." Lucas watched me put the phone away. "She doesn't know. She's 18. About to graduate. This would destroy her." "Eva." His voice softened. "She's going to find out eventually. Nathan's been siphoning money from her college fund." The world tilted sideways. "What?" "Account 847-92X. That's where the education trust was moved. He's been." "Mrs. Carter." Rachel's voice cut through the cafe noise like a knife. Nathan's mother stood by our table, her perfectly maintained smile slipping as she looked between Lucas and me. "I thought we had lunch plans." "Rachel, No need to explain." Her smile turned brittle. "Nathan mentioned you've been working late. Having lots of meetings." The implication hung in the air. I could see the story forming in her mind: secret rendezvous, clandestine meetings, her son's wife with a younger man. "It's not what you think," Lucas started. "It never is, dear." Rachel patted my shoulder. "I'll let Nathan know you're busy." She left before I could respond, her heels clicking against the floor like a countdown. "Well," Lucas said, "that complicates things." My phone buzzed again. "Nathan, Mom says you're in a meeting with Lucas. Everything okay?" Then Megan, "Dad's being super weird." "What's really going on?" And Rachel, "We need to talk about Nathan. Soon." The messages blurred together, a chorus of demands and questions I couldn't answer honestly. "Not yet. I need to see those college fund records," I told Lucas. "Everything." "Eva, maybe we should." "My daughter's future, Lucas." "He's stealing my daughter's future." He pulled out his laptop, fingers flying over the keyboard. Numbers filled the screen: transfers, withdrawals, a systematic draining of resources. Each transaction felt like a personal betrayal. "He's planning something big," Lucas said. "These patterns suggest." The cafe door chimed. Nathan walked in, all casual confidence and practiced charm. Our eyes met across the room, and for a moment, I saw something flicker behind his smile: fear, maybe, or guilt. "Eva, honey." He approached our table, kissing my cheek as if nothing was wrong. "Lucas, good to see you. Mind if I join?" Lucas closed his laptop too quickly. Nathan noticed, his smile tightening at the corners. Actually, I stood up, gathering the documents, we were just finishing. Quarterly reviews, you know how it is. Of course. Nathan's hand found the small of my back, possessive. Dinner at home tonight? Megan's making her famous lasagna. I nodded, feeling his fingers press against my spine. The same hands that signed away our daughter's future. Wouldn't miss it, I said, and watched his shoulders relax slightly. As we left the cafe, I caught Lucas's eye. He gave me a subtle nod, he'd keep digging, keep gathering evidence. Nathan's hand stayed on my back, guiding me toward his car, and I let him think he was still in control. Tonight at dinner, I'd watch my husband lie to our daughter's face. And I'd start planning exactly how to tear his world apart. Megan's lasagna sat untouched on my plate as Nathan detailed his latest investment opportunity to our daughter. Every word from his mouth was poison, wrapped in that trademark charm that had fooled me for 18 years. It's revolutionary, he said, gesturing with his wine glass. The kind of opportunity that comes once in a lifetime. Like Mom's company? Megan asked, and I nearly choked on my water. Nathan's smile flickered. Different market, sweetheart. Fresh perspective. My phone vibrated. Lucas, emergency. Check your email now. I excused myself, hands trembling as I opened my laptop in the study. The email contained a single attachment, incorporation papers for Carter Innovation Labs. The registration date was tomorrow. The seed money. Every penny from Megan's college fund. Mom. Megan stood in the doorway. Are you okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. Before I could answer, Nathan appeared behind her. Everything all right, honey? I closed the laptop. Fine. Just work. Always work these days, he said, but his eyes were sharp, calculating. Speaking of which, the board called an emergency meeting for tomorrow morning. 8 a.m. First I'm hearing of it. Last-minute thing. Probably nothing. He squeezed Megan's shoulder. Hey kiddo, why don't you clear the table? Mom and I need to talk business. The moment Megan left, Nathan's facade cracked. You've been digging. And you've been stealing. It's called investing in our future. Our future. I laughed, the sound harsh even to my ears. Or your future with Carter Innovation Labs. His expression hardened. So you know. I know you're stealing our daughter's college fund. I know you're planning to destroy everything we built together. Eva, listen. Board meeting tomorrow. Let me guess, a vote of no confidence. How long have you been poisoning them against me? He stepped closer, voice dropping. You're emotional. Not thinking clearly. This is business. This is family. Family? He scoffed. Family is what I'm trying to protect. You've gotten unstable. The board's concerned. Lucas's reports. Lucas's reports. He's been documenting your erratic behavior. The secret meetings, the unauthorized investigations, the paranoid accusations. My world tilted. Lucas. My ally. My confidant. You're lying. Am I? Nathan pulled out his phone, showed me emails from Lucas detailing my concerning patterns of behavior. Mom? Megan's voice cracked. She stood in the doorway, tears streaming down her face. What's happening? Nathan moved to comfort her, but she stepped back. Don't. I heard everything. The college fund. How could you? Sweetheart, it's complicated. It's theft, I said. Plain and simple. Your mother's upset, Nathan said smoothly. She's been under a lot of pressure. Stop lying. Megan's shout echoed through the house. Just stop. She ran upstairs, her door slamming like a gunshot. Well done, Nathan said. You've upset her. I've upset her. You stole her future. I secured it. Tomorrow, the board will vote you out. Temporary medical leave, for your own good. Then, once you're gone, Carter Innovation Labs launches. Clean slate. And Megan? She'll understand eventually. Kids always do. My phone buzzed again. Lucas, I'm sorry. He gave me no choice. Another message appeared, from Alex Parker in IT. Got everything. Server logs, deleted emails, all of it. Meet me tonight. I looked at Nathan, still talking, still spinning his web of lies. Get out. Eva. Get out. Before I call the police. He smiled, sad and patronizing. And tell them what? That your loving husband is trying to protect you from yourself. That your trusted HR director supports my concerns. Think carefully about your next move, Eva. There's still a way we can all win. He left me standing there, surrounded by the wreckage of my life. Upstairs, I could hear Megan crying. My phone lit up one last time. Alex, time sensitive. Yes or no? I thought about Nathan's smug certainty, about Lucas's betrayal, about my daughter's tears. Yes, I typed back. Tell me everything. The game had changed. Nathan thought he'd won, thought he'd trapped me in a corner. But he'd forgotten one thing: a wounded animal is most dangerous when it has nothing left to lose. Tomorrow, the board would try to take my company. Tonight, I'd make sure they learned exactly who they were dealing with. Alex's apartment was a maze of computer screens, each displaying fragments of my shattered life. Financial records, emails, surveillance footage, my husband's betrayal documented in cold, digital detail. He's been planning this for 14 months, Alex said, pulling up a timeline. Started right after you landed the Morrison contract. The Morrison contract. Our company's biggest deal. The one Nathan had insisted I take lead on, keeping me distracted with endless meetings and presentations. Show me everything. Alex clicked through documents. Multiple shell companies, all feeding into Carter Innovation Labs. But here's where it gets interesting. He highlighted a series of transactions. These transfers. They're not just from Megan's college fund. My throat tightened. What do you mean? Your mother's medical trust. The one you set up after her cancer diagnosis. The room tilted. I gripped the desk, knuckles white. That money was untouchable. Nathan found a way. Used your power of attorney to. My phone rang. Megan's ringtone. I answered to the sound of her crying. Mom. Grandma Rachel's here. She's saying terrible things about you. In the background, I heard Rachel's voice. Your mother's always been unstable, dear. Remember that time in Aspen? Aspen. The ski trip where I'd caught Nathan with receipts for jewelry I'd never received. He'd convinced everyone I was paranoid, imagining things. I'm coming home, I said. Don't bother. Nathan's voice replaced Megan's. Rachel's helping Megan pack. She'll stay with us until you recover. The line went dead. Alex watched me, concern etched on his face. Eva. He's taking my daughter. My voice sounded distant, hollow. Using my own mother-in-law to, I stopped, something clicking into place. Pull up Rachel's financial records. Alex's fingers flew across the keyboard. Nothing unusual in her personal accounts, but... Wait. He zoomed in on a document. There's a trust in her name, established 3 months ago. Significant monthly deposits. Nathan's paying her. To what? Discredit you? My laugh was bitter. To help him steal my life. I scrolled through the records, each transaction feeling like another betrayal. The board meeting tomorrow. He's going to use Rachel's testimony to prove I'm unstable. We can fight this. With these records. No. I straightened, a plan forming. Let him think he's won. Eva. The board wants to put me on medical leave. Fine. I'll give them exactly what they expect, the unstable woman having a breakdown. I pulled out my phone, dialing Lucas's number. He answered on the first ring. Eva, I can explain. Save it. You're going to help me, or I'll release proof that you helped Nathan embezzle funds. Silence. Then, what do you need? Tomorrow's board meeting. I want you to back up everything Nathan says about my mental state. I don't understand. You don't need to understand. Just do it. I hung up and turned to Alex. How long would it take to transfer everything you found to an offshore server? Hours. Maybe all night. Do it. And Alex? I met his eyes. Thank you for not being like Lucas. He nodded, understanding what I couldn't say. My phone buzzed with a text from Megan. Mom, what's really going on? Dad says you're sick, but I saw the documents on his laptop. About the college fund. I stared at her message, tears blurring my vision. My daughter, smarter than either of us had given her credit for. Trust me, I typed back. And whatever happens tomorrow, remember that everything I do is to protect you. I looked at Alex, still working through Nathan's digital trail. One more thing. I need you to help me disappear. He stopped typing. Disappear. Nathan thinks he's destroying me. Tomorrow, I'll let him think he has. I smiled, feeling calmer than I had in weeks. And then I'll show him what real destruction looks like. The screens around us glowed with evidence of Nathan's crimes, casting shadows that danced like promises of revenge. Tomorrow, I'd lose everything, my company, my reputation, maybe even my daughter's trust. But Nathan had forgotten the most important lesson in business: sometimes you have to sacrifice everything to win the game. The board meeting went exactly as planned. I played my part perfectly, the unstable wife, the paranoid executive, the woman on the edge. When Rachel testified about my episodes, I threw my coffee cup against the wall. Nathan barely hid his triumphant smile. 2 hours later, I sat in Fresh Start Tech's modern lobby, my resignation letter still warm in the board's hands. Alex had arranged everything through back channels: a new identity, a consulting position, and most importantly, a direct line to Nathan's eventual downfall. Miss Evans. The receptionist called my new name. Mr. Chen will see you now. Fresh Start's CEO stood as I entered, extending his hand. Sarah Evans. Your reputation precedes you. If only he knew which reputation. We're expanding our cybersecurity division, he continued. Your experience with Carter Technologies makes you uniquely qualified to protect us from similar companies. The irony wasn't lost on me. Nathan's new venture would target exactly the kind of startups Fresh Start represented. My phone vibrated. Megan, Mom, where are you? Dad's telling everyone you had a breakdown. I switched it off. Distance was crucial now, even from her. Especially from her. When can you start? Chen asked. Immediately. I handed him a folder, including some initial observations about potential vulnerabilities in your system. He flipped through the pages, eyebrows rising. These are remarkably detailed. I'm thorough. So I see. He paused at one page. This signature approval process, it's exactly what Carter Technologies uses. Used to use, I corrected. Before their recent leadership changes. My phone buzzed again, a text from Alex. Nathan's making his move. Carter Innovation Labs just filed for incorporation. Perfect timing. Speaking of Carter Technologies, I said carefully, I heard rumors about a new competitor entering the market. Chen nodded. Carter Innovation Labs. They're already headhunting our engineers. You'll need someone who knows their playbook. Is that what you're offering? I smiled, channeling Nathan's trademark charm. I'm offering to help you destroy them before they destroy you. Later, in my temporary office, Alex brought the news I'd been waiting for. Nathan submitted his resume. Through a headhunter, trying to be subtle. And Chen wants to interview him next week. He doesn't know you're here. I pulled up Nathan's application on my screen. His list of accomplishments read like a confession of theft. Every major project he claimed credit for had been mine. Mom? Megan's voice at my door froze my blood. I turned slowly. My daughter stood there, holding a familiar manila envelope. How did you find me? Alex told me. She stepped inside, closing the door. After I showed him these. She spread documents across my desk, copies of everything Nathan had stolen, everything he'd hidden. I've been collecting evidence since I found the first transfer from my college fund. Megan. Don't. Her voice cracked. Don't try to protect me. I'm not a child anymore. I studied her face, Nathan's determination, my analytical mind. How long have you known? Long enough to make my own copies before Dad could destroy everything. She met my eyes. I want in. No. Absolutely not. Mom, he stole my future. Our future. She laid out more papers. And I found something you missed. The document showed a series of transfers to an account I didn't recognize. The beneficiary, Michael Carter. Who's Michael Carter? Megan's laugh was bitter. Dad's other son. The one he had with his assistant 3 years ago. The room spun. Another family. Another life. Another betrayal. I have a plan, Megan said. But we need to move fast. Dad's interview is next week, and he's already talking about bringing his whole family to fresh start. I looked at my daughter, no longer the child I was trying to protect, but a woman demanding justice. Tell me your plan. She smiled, and for the first time, I saw myself in her expression, not the woman Nathan had tried to destroy, but the one who would destroy him instead. First, she said, we need to talk about Dad's interview. And about Michael's mother. The game was changing. Nathan thought he was playing chess, but he'd never noticed who was really moving the pieces. Behind the one-way mirror, I watched Nathan adjust his tie, practicing that winning smile that had fooled so many for so long. The interview room at Fresh Start Tech felt like a cage, trapping us both in this moment. Ready? Alex whispered, adjusting the recording equipment. I nodded, unable to trust my voice. Megan squeezed my hand, then took her position by the door. Everything we'd planned hinged on the next 30 minutes. Lucas entered the interview room, playing his part perfectly. Mr. Carter, impressive resume. Please, call me Nathan. That practiced charm, spreading like oil on water. You left Carter Technologies rather abruptly. Nathan's smile flickered. Creative differences with the leadership. My wife's condition made things complicated. Your wife. Lucas consulted his notes. Evangeline Carter. Co-founder. Ex-co-founder. She's taking some time to focus on her health. My fingers dug into my palms. Beside me, Megan tensed. And your new venture? Lucas asked. Carter Innovation Labs. A fresh start. Speaking of which. Nathan leaned forward. I understand you're having security issues. Particularly with protecting intellectual property. Lucas raised an eyebrow. Oh? I have sources suggesting your encryption protocols are vulnerable. Nathan's smile turned predatory. I could help with that. The door opened. Right on cue, Rachel Carter walked in. Nathan's composure cracked. Mother? What are you? I'm sorry, Nathan. Rachel's voice shook. I can't do this anymore. She placed a folder on the table. Documents. Bank statements. Proof of every lie. What is this? Nathan's charm vanished. Mother, we discussed this. You discussed nothing. Megan stepped into the room. You ordered, threatened, and manipulated. Just like always. Nathan stood so quickly his chair toppled. Megan. What's going on? Sit down, Dad. Her voice was steel. Or should I call Michael's father? The color drained from his face. How did you know about your other family? I stepped through the door, dropping the Sarah Evans disguise like a shed skin. Our daughter is smarter than either of us gave her credit for. Eva. He whispered my name like a curse. This is impossible. You're unstable. Paranoid. In need of medical leave. I smiled. Amazing what a woman can accomplish when everyone underestimates her. He lunged for the documents, but Lucas was faster. These copies are just courtesy. The originals are already with the SEC. You're bluffing. Like you bluffed about my college fund. Megan's voice cracked. Or about Mom's company. Or about Michael. Nathan's face twisted. You don't understand. I did this for us. For our family. Which family? Rachel interrupted. The one you betrayed or the one you hid? The door opened again. A woman entered, young, pretty, holding a toddler with Nathan's eyes. Sarah. Nathan stumbled back. No. You can't be here. Actually, I said, she can. Sarah's been very helpful, especially after learning about the offshore accounts you kept from her. You built your new company with stolen money, Megan added. Our money. While your son needed surgery. Sarah hugged Michael closer. You said you'd pay for his operation. That the delay was just paperwork. Nathan looked around wildly, seeing nothing but betrayal in every face. This is a setup. You're all conspiring. To what? I stepped closer. Tell the truth. Show you for who you really are. His hand shot out, grabbing my arm. You vindictive. The camera clicked. Alex lowered his phone, smiling. Assault caught on camera. Nice touch. Security arrived, right on schedule. As they led Nathan away, he kept shouting about conspiracies, about my instability, about his innocence. Nobody believed him. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, watching my daughter comfort her sobbing grandmother, seeing Sarah shield Michael from his father's rage, I felt hollow. Mom? Megan touched my arm where Nathan had grabbed me. Are you okay? No, I admitted. But I will be. My phone buzzed, Chen calling. Time to explain why his new hire was being escorted out in handcuffs. Time to face the consequences of my own deceptions. The game wasn't over. It had just changed again. The anonymous blog post appeared 3 days after Nathan's arrest. The truth about Fresh Start Tech, a whistleblower's account. Every detail about their security vulnerabilities. Every weakness I'd identified in my first report to Chen, twisted into weapons. It's him, Alex confirmed, tracing the IP address. He's using a VPN, but the writing pattern matches Nathan's emails perfectly. I stared at my phone as Fresh Start's stock price plummeted. Chen had already called twice. He's desperate, Megan said, reading over my shoulder. This is sloppy. No. I stood up, grabbing my coat. This is bait. The prison visiting room smelled of industrial cleaner and desperation. Nathan sat across from me, orange jumpsuit stark against his pale skin, but his smile hadn't changed. I wondered how long it would take you, he said. The blog stops now. What blog? His innocence was practiced, perfect. I'm in here, remember? Thanks to your little performance. You're destroying people's lives, Nathan. Fresh Start's employees, their families. Like you destroyed mine. His mask slipped, just for a moment. How's Michael, by the way? Bonding with his big sister. My phone buzzed. Alex, second post just dropped. Stocks in freefall. You want something, I said. What is it? Nathan leaned forward. A deal. You convinced the SEC to drop the charges, I stopped the leaks. You'd still lose everything. I already lost everything. His laugh was bitter. But so will you. Every company you touch, every project you start, I'll be there, Eva. In the shadows, waiting. My phone buzzed again. Megan, Mom, check your email. Now. I pulled up my inbox, found a forwarded message from Rachel. The subject line, insurance policy. What's wrong? Nathan's smile widened. Unexpected development. The attachment was a video, Nathan in his office, but not the one I'd seen before. This was older, from when we first started the company. He was talking to Rachel, outlining his plans, how he'd use my ideas, my work, build his empire on my foundation. You planned this from the beginning, I whispered. Business is business. He shrugged. You were brilliant but naive. The perfect combination. My phone lit up with another message. Alex, third post ready to launch. Say the word. I looked at Nathan, really looked at him. The man I'd loved, the father of my child, the architect of so many lies. He thought he was still playing chess, still moving pieces on a board. You're right, I said. Business is business. I stood up, pulled out my own phone, and played Rachel's video. Watched his smile fade as his younger self detailed every aspect of his long con. That's not. Where did you get that? Your mother had a conscience after all. I moved toward the door. The SEC already has a copy. Along with evidence of every blog post you've orchestrated from in here. Eva, wait. The posts stop now, Nathan. Or tomorrow's headline won't be about Fresh Start's vulnerabilities. It'll be about how you planned this entire scheme before we even got married. You're bluffing. I turned back, met his eyes. Am I? His face contorted. I'll destroy you. No. I smiled, feeling truly free for the first time in months. You already tried that. And look where we are. As I walked out, my phone buzzed one last time. Alex, Fresh Start stock stabilizing. Chen wants to meet. Then Megan, Mom, Sarah's here with Michael. He's asking about his dad. The weight of it all, the revenge, the lies, the collateral damage, settled on my shoulders. Nathan had tried to turn me into him, make me play his game. And I'd almost let him. Tell Sarah I'm on my way, I texted back. It's time we all talked about the future. Behind me, through the prison doors, I could hear Nathan shouting, demanding to see his lawyer, trying to regain control. But his voice grew fainter with each step I took toward the exit. Some games, I realized, you win by stopping playing. My phone buzzed again, Chen calling. Time to face the music, rebuild what Nathan had tried to destroy. But this time, I'd do it my way. The sun hit my face as I stepped outside. Somewhere in the city, my daughter was waiting with her little brother. A family born from lies, but maybe, just maybe, one that could heal through truth. The letter arrived on Megan's graduation day, delivered to Fresh Start Tech's reception desk. Nathan's handwriting, once so familiar, now looked like a stranger's scrawl. I sat in my office, the envelope untouched on my desk, while downstairs Megan showed Michael around the building. His excited chatter about computers and robots echoed through the halls, a reminder that innocence could survive even the darkest betrayals. "You don't have to read it," Rachel said, settling into the chair across from me. Our weekly lunches had become a ritual of healing, each of us rebuilding what Nathan had broken. "I know." I picked up the envelope. "But I think I need to." The letter was short, just one page. No manipulations, no grand schemes. Just numbers, account details, passwords, instructions for recovering everything he'd stolen. At the bottom, 3 words, "I'm truly sorry." My phone buzzed. "Megan, ready when you are." I found them in the lobby, Michael perched on his sister's hip, pointing at the massive digital display showing Fresh Start's latest projects. Sarah stood nearby, watching her son with a mixture of love and worry I'd come to recognize in myself. "Ready for your big moment?" I asked Megan. She handed Michael to Sarah and pulled out her tablet. "Are you?" The document was already loaded, her story, our story, ready to be published. Not a tale of revenge or betrayal, but of truth and consequences. Every detail meticulously documented, every lie exposed, every lesson learned. "You don't have to do this," I said. "Yes, I do." She met my eyes. "For Michael. For everyone who trusted him. For us." The lobby filled with familiar faces, Alex, Lucas, Chen, the entire Fresh Start family. They gathered around the display screen, waiting for Megan's signal. "Before you do this," I handed her Nathan's letter. He sent account details. "Everything he took, we can get back." She read it quickly, then folded it into a perfect square. "It's not about the money anymore, Mom." It never really was. With a tap on her tablet, her story appeared on the massive screen. "The Price of Trust, A Family's Journey Through Betrayal and Recovery" by Megan Carter. The room fell silent as people began to read. Not just about Nathan's crimes, but about Rachel's courage, Sarah's strength, Michael's innocence. About a daughter watching her family shatter and rebuild. My phone buzzed one last time, a message from Nathan's prison email account. I saw the preview. "She writes like you. Tell her. Tell her I'm proud." I deleted it without responding. Some bridges stay burned. "Mom." Megan's voice pulled me back. "We'll be late for graduation." Later, watching her cross the stage in her cap and gown, I thought about revenge and justice, about the fine line between protecting and controlling. Nathan had taught us all that lesson, though not in the way he intended. Michael cheered from Sarah's lap as Megan accepted her diploma. Rachel wiped tears from her eyes. Alex and Lucas, sitting a few rows back, gave standing ovations. And now, the principal announced, our valedictorian, Megan Carter. She took the podium, notes untouched in her hands. "Today we talk about new beginnings," she started. "But every beginning comes from an ending. The trick is knowing which endings to accept, and which ones to rewrite." Her eyes found mine in the crowd. In that moment, I saw not just my daughter, but a woman who had learned to forge strength from broken trust, wisdom from pain. The story wasn't over, it never really would be. Nathan's shadow would linger in Michael's questions, in Rachel's regrets, in the quiet moments when memories ambushed us. But we had chosen to write our own endings, to build something new from the ruins of his lies. Megan's voice carried across the auditorium, strong and clear. The truth isn't always clean or simple. Sometimes it breaks everything you thought you knew. But in that breaking, you find out what's real, what matters, what's worth fighting for. She was right. The truth had broken us. But in breaking, we had become something stronger, not despite Nathan's betrayal, but because of how we chose to rise above it.